Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live chat event. For those of you who are new here, I'm Brooke Schoenman. I am the founder of Her Packing List, a site that helps women to pack smarter and travel confidently. Now, obviously, travel life and life in general has been a little bit weird this year due to the pandemic, but more places are starting to open up to travel. More people are starting to adapt and learn how to live with and move alongside the virus. So it's super important that we are doing everything we can to be as safe as possible in the process. So that brings us to today's topic and guest. So I have Sarah Giblin here, who is the owner of Riut, a brand of backpacks known for their unique extra security feature, which we will talk about. And today we're going to talk about her latest backpack design as it was made specifically for travel in the 2020s. So let's go ahead and bring Sarah onto the screen. And you're
Hello.
live.
Hi, Brooke.
Hi,
Thanks so much for
Sarah.
having me.
Thank you for joining me. I know it's a little bit early where you are. Is it like 8
Yes,
a.m.?
I'm here. I'm here in Manchester and the sun is just coming up. It's actually
Yeah.
kind of amazing morning. It's like bright pink stripes across the sky.
Well, that's nice. It's always good to catch a morning like that. But
Totally.
I'm in Australia, so 6 p.m. here, a little bit different.
Good point.
Yeah. But before we get started, if you are tuning in live and you have any questions, you can share them in the YouTube live stream chat box. I've also included a link to the Kickstarter for the bag we're going to talk about. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Sarah, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your journey with Riut?
Oh, right. Yeah. So 6 years ago, actually, this all started when I was on a plane just going through Europe. And I noticed the person in front of me was really distressed as we were getting off the plane, that I was so close to his backpack. And I thought, do you genuinely, I'm not going to steal anything from your backpack. Like, I want to get off the plane as well. And I just noticed him sort of take off his backpack, take his passport and his phone out of that little pocket at the back, put his backpack back on and stick his passport in his pocket. And I just thought, do you know what? Like, so many people just feel that they don't like being so close to everyone and they might have had a bad week and it's all just a little bit too much for them. And in that moment, I was like, what happens if we could just not have any zips on the outside of our backpack? What happens if they were just all against our back instead? And then we could just feel so much more calm around other people. We wouldn't have to think anything negative about them. We could just focus on what we're doing. And at that point, I was like, I'm going to go and buy one of those backpacks. And I couldn't find that backpack. And I thought I just didn't know how to Google it properly. Uh, and then I was like, oh, wait, does this thing really not exist? And that was sort of the beginning of it all.
Yeah, no, that's a really funny origin story. And yeah, the fact that it didn't already exist, like, that's amazing. That's that's really amazing actually. But yeah,
Uh,
so
Totally.
your special security feature is that your backpacks have the zipper against your back, meaning there's
Exactly.
no
And
yeah.
nothing on the outside. So there's no way into the backpack on the outside of it. Because what's kind of weird about the standard way that the backpack has been built over so many years is that the person behind you can actually get into your backpack more easily than you can. And I am a massive fan of backpacks. I've used them my entire life. I've used all kind of backpack my whole life. But there's a reason backpacks are so great. We're using the strength of our backs and our legs to hold everything that we otherwise would have to hold in our arms. So, like, they're completely practical. I love the backpack. But for me, especially since we tend to travel on our own as individual units rather than like in armies of people who are all together, like on one side, instead, you're just one person with all of your belongings with you and you want to keep it that way. And my whole thing is, I can't stop all theft in the world, but my designs are meant to be there to help you feel more confident and more calm when you are traveling so that you just know it's not even an option for someone to be able to take anything. That's the idea.
Yeah, I mean that's really great because otherwise we're doing the whole wearing the backpack on the front type of thing, which
Yeah.
I have done over the years, to
Yeah.
keep it safe. But yeah, that's such a practical and useful design. It just, yeah, it's amazing. Um, yeah, so you've been all about like safety in terms of all the backpacks you've created over the years. It's been about safety. And really,
Yeah.
yeah, that hasn't changed. I mean, even with your new design, it's about safety, but it's about safety in another way, in another aspect. So tell us a little bit more about your new backpack, the RiutBag Plus, and kind of the motivation behind that. If
Yeah, so every single backpack I make is always backwards in this sense. So it's always got a zips against your back and no zips on the outside. And this year, as everyone knows, you've either been a doctor or working in a supermarket and you've been the busiest person that you've ever been in your life and one of the most important people in society, or you've been all the other people who have been in lockdown, not really knowing where they stand in society anymore. And I was definitely in this group. And I just sort of thought, right, okay, travel is stopping. And I'm a travel backpack designer, and I need to just I need to not be trying to sell people backpacks at a point when no one wants to travel anywhere. I just need to like cool this all down and stop. So I also went into lockdown, and kind of out of nowhere, um, this one of my customers got in touch. He's a doctor in Mexico, and he said, this was at the height of the pandemic. This is like May, or like right at the beginning of May. He said, Sarah, I can't take my backpack into the hospital at the moment because they won't let us disinfect it. We need wipe clean materials. That's the only kind of materials they're letting in at the moment. I just wanted to let you know that. And I was like, oh my God, what can I do for him? And I just thought, we could put a rain cover on the outside, but that's still not dealing with the straps and the back of the bag, which are all a sort of cordura woven material, or that kind of padded mesh. And I was like, well, I was really struggling with it because I just thought, what can I actually do for this doctor? And as I thought about it, I was like, could my design work in a completely sanitizable, wipe clean, and waterproof material? Like, does that make sense? And like, let's try it. And so I started prototyping it, and this is sort of what's come out. So it is my standard design. So this is the back of the RiutBag where the zips are, and where the straps are. So when I'm wearing it, everything is completely, like all of the zips are completely against my back. No one can get in. But the new material is a really durable, wipe clean, waterproof tarpaulin. Do you know that material?
No, I mean, I'm not really knowledgeable on my materials, I guess.
That is totally fine. I never know which materials people know and which they don't. So
Tarpaulin.
tarpaulin is this crazy strong material that they put on the side of lorries. Do you know like that material that they the kind of the actual material that sometimes
Actual
flattens
tarp, like
the lorry?
tarp. Yeah, okay, got it.
Tarp,
Got it.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
people just call it tarp.
Tarp.
So tarpaulin,
Yeah.
that is this material. It's like crazy durable, usually used for like industrial purposes, basically construction and industry. And that's what the whole bag is made out of. So you can completely wipe clean the entire thing, including the straps, actually, because usually on backpacks that are even made from like that are made from wipe clean materials, they still have mesh and like padded straps. I mean, these are padded, but everything is completely wipe clean. So this concept is for you to basically be able to travel around, whether you're going to the supermarket or you're going, riding on the tram or the train, going to work, whatever it is that you're doing in your local environment, when you get home, you can completely wipe clean your backpack, and you just know that you have left the outside world behind, basically.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty impressive. I mean, and you were doing this like during lockdowns. So was it hard to get the right materials to make the bag?
I was amazed. Like some stuff I could get, so I couldn't go and like physically touch materials in shops because none of the shops were open. But I could. I just ordered materials online basically, and so like in fact samples like just like A4 samples of material arrived so that I could start like attacking them with scissors and seeing whether they were going to be strong enough. And some, the first few materials that I ordered, they were beautiful, but they just weren't going to be durable enough for a backpack. And I needed to make sure that I could make this really minimal so that all the surfaces were wiped clean, but still have the right function and the right durability. So that's what I've been working on. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, it sounds like a lot of work has gone into this, and it's amazing to me that you just got the idea in May and you're putting the bag out in October. I mean, that's impressive. I mean, you have nothing else to do, I guess.
It's true. It is. This is what I do. But I think what I really struggled with at the beginning was like, does this actually make any sense? Because I don't know, because so everything changed so much.
Yeah.
Every week I had that feeling in lockdown, and I don't know whether you can take yourself back to the mindset of lockdown, but we didn't know anything about what it was going to be like afterwards. We didn't know when it was going to end or how it was going to be.
Yeah, like how long it's actually going to drag on. Like it could have been, hey, maybe in 6 months it's all over and we've solved it and got it under control, and then you've done all this design work, and
I mean,
it's a risk.
In reality, as a backpack designer, I'm prototyping all the time, actually. Like whenever a new idea comes into my head, if I think it makes sense for a new set of travelers, whether they're local, kind of, doing local trips every day, or whether they're doing international trips, I'm prototyping in the background a lot anyway. But this was just such a new challenge to me because I'm using new materials. I've never gone anywhere near these materials before. I've got this. In fact, this is an extra little feature. I've got this ripstop nylon.
Move it over to your left a little bit.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I've got
You're gonna cut out. Yeah, there you go.
Ripstop PVC, which I've never worked with before, and this tarps, like just it's been a real challenge. But basically, how I went about it was I kind of stripped back the design. Like it was important to get these wipe clean surfaces, no embossed logos, nowhere where, like, trying to minimize the places where stuff could get caught in the corners and stuff. And then what I do is I wrote to my factory. So the factory that has made absolutely every one of my designs, because they're all handmade, in Fujian in South China. I sent them my designs and I was like, can we try a new material? Like, can we try this? And they were like, this is not a normal material to be working with, Sarah. This is really bad. Like, it's really hard to make. But we tried it, and we've trialed a few different things now, and we finally ended up with the right material. But yeah, I've done 3 prototypes, and I feel ready with this design, and that it was sort of ready to see whether this was something useful for people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, this type of fabric would be good for a backpack just because you can keep it cleaner whether there's a virus or not, right?
Absolutely. Like this, what I love about this bag, so it is one of the absolute joys of being a backpack designer that I get to walk around with a completely unique backpack that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world for like a few weeks or months before it goes out. And I've been enjoying walking through the rain with this because I've never ever had such a rainproof backpack before, and it it's almost like I want it to rain when this is around.
Come at
And
me.
I like becoming a backpack designer meant that, you know, I've spent the last 6 years thinking about nothing other than what people need in a backpack. And so I've thought a lot about the washability of a backpack, because it's a strange one. People do not wash their backpacks.
Well, that's something I wanted to bring up, but yes, I agree with you. I agree. I mean, if you're listening to this, like realistically, how many times do you actually wash your backpack? I don't know. You could say once or twice a year, but I don't believe that.
Absolutely. Like people, like I now know as a backpack designer, if you wash your backpack, it definitely increases the length of its life, because we normally get a lot of dust and sweat in our backpack, and that is actually able to break down the materials.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, it's rank to talk about
No,
this,
no, this is good. No, it's
very
real.
So if you have a backpack that doesn't have like any electronics or like wild stuff inside it, I really, really, really recommend, especially like when it's like really nice warm weather, stick your backpack in the wash, with no detergent, because the detergent actually breaks down some of the waterproofing materials. Put in your trainers as well, and any other backpacks that are around, and then let it dry out in the sun. Like that is what we should be doing, ideally once a year, but no one ever does that. But I always I've made all of my backpacks until now like machine washable, even though people don't do it, and they come out looking like new.
Yeah.
But before I was a backpack designer, I have never washed a single backpack in my life. Like, do you actually wash your backpack?
I have, yeah. But not frequently, but I definitely do occasionally.
But did you do it to like make a YouTube video, or did you do it because you genuinely
I
wanted
did
to?
it genuinely because I felt like my bag was, because I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, like anyway, so I'm like, man, this bag has been dragged through who knows what, and I'm laying my head on it. I have, but it's not regularly, it's not frequently at all. So it's not a thing. But this makes it like you can just wipe it clean. So hey, there you go.
This actually turns your the keeping clean of your backpack. Like you can do this daily, and it takes seconds. And that's the difference, you know. Like I know no one in the world has or ever should be washing their backpack every single day. You shouldn't be putting you won't be able to keep up with the drying, right? It's completely impractical to do that. But when I was thinking about this case study of the doctor, I was like, you know, I can't tell you to machine wash your RiutBag every day. That just makes no sense. So having something that has a wipe clean surface feels right for this time, at least as an option for people. For people who are aware of the fact that they are moving in and out of their home, going potentially even working in hospitals where they are at a higher risk of like being in contact with the virus, that they know when they get home they can wipe it clean with the right solutions, and they know that's just done. And I think that at least an important option for some people out there.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's also new. I mean, who would have thought that this would ever have happened or been needed? I cannot imagine being, you know, a healthcare worker and working in this stressful job and then not even being able to like carry my stuff to work in a civilized way. I have to use a plastic bag. So that's,
you know, I'm aware that I don't do the most important job in the world. It's not like if you take me away that the world is going to crumble, but I make you know, your backpack it's one of those mundane things that just belongs to your life. You're not really even aware it's there, but at the point that it stops doing its job or stops being able to do its job, you suddenly realize that you rely on it quite a lot. So definitely for Dr. Velasco in Mexico, he said, I had already had these there's such a full-on 2020, and then this was just the tip of the iceberg when they said, yeah, you can't take your backpack, and he's like,
It's like, what now? What now?
and he said, he said when he got home, he was just so annoyed.
Yeah.
Uh, and he told his partner about it, and he was like, I'm going to write to the backpack company. And they actually had a little argument about it because she was like, don't, like, why would they care about you not being able to use your backpack? And like, what are they going to do about this anyway?
Aw.
And he was like, well, I need to tell someone. So he wrote in, and I don't think he knew that I was like, he just thought of my company as like some big backpack company.
Right.
He didn't realize that I was sitting behind it all, and
You are the company.
that I would sort of spend then the rest of the year thinking about this and trying to work out how I could not only make a backpack that a doctor could take in and out of COVID positive wards,
Yep.
but also make a backpack for every day that like a wider, group of travelers who are like just transiting around their local towns and cities, maybe doing a little bit of national travel, how this could be useful for them. And so that's why some of the features on the bag are they're just an immediate response to 2020. Like, we're all carrying masks. And in fact, I don't know whether you've noticed, but there's a lot of like masks littered around on the floor because people are losing their masks all the time. I can see they're all over the ground in Manchester where I am. And so I just put a little like mask holder onto the strap so that you always know where your mask is.
And you're not going to pull it out of the pocket and drop it onto the ground on accident.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know where it is. It's drying out on your strap. And you don't forget it either, because I don't know about you, but this year I have left my flat a number of times and had to go back because I forgot my mask. So I kind of want to minimize those the smaller flow issues of how we're moving now that our world has changed and that we're carrying different things.
Yeah. That's one of the examples of the benefits of being a small business, is that you were able to take this idea and make it happen like in a very short amount of time. Whereas those big travel brands, like, I'm not really seeing stuff like this come out. They're selling masks, but are they redesigning their backpacks to be more COVID friendly? So this is where you shine, really.
Well, I spent lockdown on Twitter, basically. I'm actually a really big fan of Twitter. I know some people think it's just a really angry place, but in my little corner of Twitter, we just like share design ideas and like challenge each other on stuff and like have some fun. Like I relied on Twitter so much this year. And earlier on in the year, I saw how a lot of 3D printing companies and individuals at home were stepping up to make visors and to make different products for their local hospitals. And in seeing a lot of those designs that were just sort of instantly coming up out of nowhere, I found that really inspiring, and I also found the debate around those products really important, because people were creating these really cool looking visors because you can with 3D printers. You can make like these incredible 3D structures that you can like see through, but there's just loads of holes. But cool stuff didn't really make any sense at that stage, because you actually wanted to make very clean surfaces, no logos on them, no like crazy little dips and bumps, and you weren't using all of your like wild ability to make cool stuff. Instead, I was seeing how there was a lot of challenge around trying to make the cleanest, the simplest, and the most minimal product. And that really inspired me when Dr. Valesco got in touch, and I was like, I'm a backpack designer. I need to be stepping up and actually designing for this new situation, and not just like a sort of living in it, but realizing I actually can do something here. I can change my little bit of the world
Hmm.
to reflect the reality now, rather than wishing for, some past that isn't going to come back.
Yeah, that's the reality. I mean, it's going to be with us for a while now. Whether there's a vaccine or not, there's still going to be people who can't be vaccinated for various reasons. So when we're moving about, even if we can't get it, that doesn't mean someone else around us can't. So this is very smart. We have to continue thinking about this for quite some time. So it makes sense.
I also think that we're going to see more of this. So I think people, whilst other companies are bigger and have bigger like decision making
Mm-hmm.
processes than I do, because it's just me, I can I can completely see how more and more is going to be done to just slightly change the way that our products are, to make them more sanitizable, basically. And I mean, I've heard from friends who work on film sets, for TV shows, or for TV shows, that they have completely restructured their processes to make sure that everyone is getting tested all the time, that they understand how, uh, like, are they going to be around other people? Are they able to keep their 2 meter distance? Are they going to be on stage being filmed very close to people, and so therefore need to be tested constantly? Like, the processes in lots of companies have totally changed to map themselves around COVID-19. Physical products are harder to instantly change like
Yeah.
that. But I think we will see more of these products that like are sort of adapting to the new world. And it's not just, I always think it's not just about physically what's happening, it's also about how people feel. So when I did my survey, I did some surveys of travelers to 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 like finish this off and make sure that it was actually reflecting the kind of things that we need to do, whether it's as simple as putting on a mask holder, or like holding your sanitizer in a way that it's on the outside of your backpack,
Yeah.
or or whether it's as serious as like making wipe clean materials. I still wanted to find out how a traveler's feeling post lockdown. And the data basically showed me 98% of us are carrying things, wearing masks, carrying hand sanitizer, doing active things to stop the spread of the disease. And that is a huge number, that's like basically everyone. And But I've also asked people, how comfortable are you traveling around other people at the moment in public? And nearly 75% of people said they feel uncomfortable traveling around other people right now.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and that, we're doing everything we can to protect ourselves and other people. Clearly, 98% of us are doing it, but we still feel uncomfortable. And that's when I'm designing stuff, I want it to be functional and real, and I want it to actually work. I want you not to be able to have stuff stolen from your backpack. I also want you to be able to wipe this completely clean so you are safe. But I also want you to know that. And that's really what I'm sort of what the products are doing. It's letting you know you are doing everything you can to make sure you're secure, to make sure you feel as confident as possible when you're walking around. And if you are like, I really, I, that sort of that world of like confidence and knowing, that you are okay. That's where I came from with the security of the backpack, and I don't know where I am with that, with the hygiene and sanitizableness of the backpack, but that's because people don't have it yet. It's still at this prototype stage, but I hope that it will make people feel, more confident and calmer, and reduce their stress, which I think has been a massive thing for people globally this year.
Yeah. I mean, I have plenty of people in my community who are just not going to travel until it's over. But, you know, it's going to last a while, so I don't know when that's going to be. But yeah, if you can do these things to help instill that confidence, that traveler confidence, then, more people can start to live life that's sort of a semblance of what it used to be.
Yeah, and I'm not saying if you're not happy traveling, that you should go traveling and take this bag. I don't think that at all. I think for the people who have to travel, there are people who either, for their work or for so many reasons, they either have to or want to travel. For those people, I want there to be a safer option for them to do that. And what's also, I think I don't know whether you felt this as well, but one of the things I found so difficult about this year is that I felt like I no longer had control over anything in my life. Like it felt like all of my future and plans had just completely been taken out of my hands, and I was like, oh wow, like who am I and what am I doing?
That's not
Um,
the first time I've heard that. Who am I? That's been common amongst people. Yeah.
yeah, and I just kind of I think the lack of control the and having to hand over our control to our governments in a way that we're so much more aware of. Of course, actually, we are constantly in the hands of our governments. That's like how society works. But we're so much more aware of it right now because of the restrictions and the rules. But this like RiutBag Plus is what I'm calling it, RiutBag with a little plus sign at the end. It's sort of just another way, like the masks, like the hand sanitizer, to give us control over the environment that we are in. And also, I mean, it is like that's the sort of COVID-19 element of the design, but in reality, it's also just a really waterproof backpack, and there are some really like practical elements that come with it. Like some of my Kickstarter, so it's live on Kickstarter. That's how I get my designs out. And some of the people who are backing it are teachers who just like stuff gets spilt at school, and they're like, oh, a bag that I can actually clean. That's great.
Well,
Um,
yeah. Yeah, or even just like setting it down on the ground, on the floor of the bus or the train. Like, things spill all the time there, but you don't know.
Definitely, definitely. And
Yeah.
I mean, I I am I make most of my backpacks are black, and they are black for a reason, because then you just can't see all the stuff on them.
Yeah.
But for people who are actually aware of like hygiene and wanting to be genuinely hygienic, and like being able to sanitize their space, not just hiding the dirt or hiding whatever is on the bag, is kind of like what this bag is about. It's sort of saying, look, clean me. You can clean me. But also there are other people, like I remember customers in the past have said, the dog hair in my house gets all over my bag. So what are you going to do about that? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. And so now, like people who have like pets, like they can just wipe all of this completely clean. So there are other elements to it
So you've
that are just
solved
practical
you've
in a
solved
way.
all these other issues by looking at this one issue at the same time. So that's brilliant. Like,
Definitely,
I mean, rabbit
definitely.
hair. Rabbit hair is an issue at my house. His fur
Ah.
is everywhere, and it loves black fabric. It loves it. So,
And all of those really durable fabrics that you use on an international travel bag, they I can't tell you why. I think they have like quite a high electrostatic
yeah,
uh, situation
cling.
that just particularly loves
It just goes.
animal hair.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wait,
Agree.
what color are your rabbits?
Oh, I have one rabbit. He's like a gray brown. He's two-toned,
Okay,
so yeah, but
okay, cool.
his
So
light hair, oh, it's terrible.
but what
It's
do you do? You then have a
I have a
roller.
roller. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
mini rollers. So, but yes, definitely travel gear, black clothes. That is a huge issue. And another reason why this bag is great, I love the waterproofing of it. Like, that makes me happy. And I love the simplicity of it. Like, I'm all about simple bags. We overcomplicate bags, I feel like. There's too much going on in a lot of new bags. So, this is great.
I I'm a big fan of there being space inside your backpack. So a lot of backpacks are built with so many compartments that you don't actually just have one packing space. Shall I show you the bag inside?
Yeah,
Like how?
let's go ahead. I'll make you full screen so you can go ahead and show
Oh
us
yeah.
all the bag. But yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
the same way. I like a big cavern instead of tons of pockets because I can make my own organization inside. But
Absolutely. Yeah. So this side you just can't get into, right? This is the
theft
this is
proof.
the outside of
Yeah.
it. It's literally made of like two big panels, and you've got a handle for grabbing at the top. Right. So when you use the actual only ways to put stuff inside here, you've got this like top pocket, which takes up the whole kind of brain of the bag. So all of this is your top pocket, which you can get into pretty quickly. And then I make my backpacks with a laptop holder, which people can either use. You can okay. In fact, let me just show you how this bag works. So
Okay.
this is the inside of the RiutBag Plus.
Love that.
It's just one big space, basically. So you can pack it like this. And that's where you've got like 20 liters of space. And I make it bright inside so that people can actually find their stuff,
Smart.
which was a RiutBag user comment like back in 2016 or so. They were like, it's so dark in there. Can you make it brighter? And I was like, I can definitely make it brighter. I can definitely do that. So basically, when you're opening your backpack, you can open this part, which is your laptop holder, or you can just keep anything like documents or magazines or books or notebooks in this part. And I'll just show you it inside. Let's see, so this is your laptop holder. It's got like two compartments in here. And if you just want to, I might just shift this back a little bit so that we can actually see, sorry. So let's say you're out and about and you want to get your laptop or some documents out. You can just open it up like this. You kind of keep it half open at the back and you can grab stuff and put it back in. And so it's really, really simple. You've got a few inner pockets here that are all like this wonderful wipe clean material.
Mm-hmm.
And as a backpack designer, it became important to me over the years that you can actually kind of basically see into your pockets a little bit without having to go all the way through them.
Yeah.
Because I used to make pockets that are completely opaque and you just didn't know what was in there. So you ended up having to literally go in and look through all your pockets to be able to find what you were looking for, as opposed to going, oh, I have an overview of what is in my pockets. But yeah, then you've just got this like big 20-liter space in here. And that is the entire bag already. Like that is it. You can, if you're packing it with supermarket shopping, or you're going on a small trip, if you're allowed to like visit, I don't know, your family, or you're going to work, like it is as simple as that. You've got your 20-liter space inside. Oh, you've also got water bottle holders in the side.
How stretchy is that pocket for the water bottle?
So on this one, it is not. This is actually not a stretchy bottle. Like this is one of the weird things about working with this material. So the stretch is not there. And I've, like this construction of the bag is based on a previous design of mine, which I simplified to create this. So the X35 is my 15 to 35 liter expandable travel backpack, and that's with all the old materials designed last year, and that does have stretchy water bottle holders, which I will admit are incredibly useful. And I actually could get like 1.5 liter bottles in the side, which was great for a massive like cycling camping trip I did down the German-Polish border. But in this design, because so much of it is about like minimalist, stripping back, and like focusing on the function of it being sanitized, I can't work with stretchy materials. So I've tried to make these pockets as large as possible so that you can definitely still get a decent sized, like 500 or 700 milliliter bottle. Is that how you talk about the amounts in
Yeah.
bottles?
Yep, that works.
Um, in the side, but yeah, it doesn't stretch, which, you know, that's what you lose by working with wiped clean materials. But there are two at least, so you've got them on either side. So hopefully you can still carry enough water with you. And also, what I like recently managed to do with these designs is get them so they basically stand up on their own. No hands, which is something that I didn't manage with all of my previous designs. And I remember when a customer got in touch, they were like, I love a backpack that can stand on its own. And I was like, yeah, I think I want my backpacks to be sturdy enough to stand on their own so you don't have to hold it up against something else. But anyway, that's just a small detail.
That's awesome. Thank you for running us through that. Lots of good features. I love it. Like I said, I love a good open space bag. And I know a lot of people are probably like, well, 20 liters, like that's not enough for travel. But I'm like, yes, it is.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but then I also think we have to look at what the function of this backpack is. Like, I have made it so it fits onto an airline. So this is within like cabin luggage size. And I think this makes this backpack, it's designed for your everyday life. So our much more local living that we're doing at the moment, which still involves going to the supermarket, jumping on the tram, on the bus, going on train rides and stuff, like that. And just generally being in public. So that's sort of the part of this life, going to work as well, that this backpack is made for. But I think it makes sense also for short trips. If you are getting on a flight, you can do it with this bag. And so I think it will work for everything from local trips up to, like short city trips. I don't think this is an international travel bag. This is not your backpack that you're going to backpack around the world with. I mean, if it was, that would be super. I want to hear from people who backpack around the world with this.
Yeah.
But I think that isn't what I've focused this design on. I've created backpacks that, are for like long distance, long-term travel.
Yeah.
And you just build them differently if that's what your focus is.
Well,
yeah.
We just did, I run this thing called the Handbag Packing Masterclass, and we just packed for a week in a handbag in that class. So I think it's possible.
What is the definition of a handbag?
Well, it can be whatever you choose, but like a 8-liter bag. 10-liter bag. Yeah. So we did that. So I think people who just took that class could probably do very well with this 20-liter backpack.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Yeah.
And I always love hearing from my customers who they take my smallest backpack, which is this like very lightweight day pack called the RiutBag Crush, which folds. I think maybe you'll know them.
Is
They're
it
those
a
little
packable day pack?
Yeah, they fold right down into their own little pocket. And when my customers tell me that they do international travel with one of those, I'm just absolutely astounded, and I'm so proud of them. Because honestly, I'm actually I'm a big backpack kind of person. Like I like having, even if I'm just walking through town or like cycling somewhere, I like to have a huge backpack with me because I never know what's going to happen. I hate being somewhere only to find that if I had like more space in my backpack, then I could take this, like, I don't know, find a like pumpkin or something in the supermarket or like some weird object that I see on the side of the road that I was like, I could have put that in my backpack. And then I have to like tie it to my bike instead or something. So I'm actually quite a fan of having
more space.
Yeah, like a bit more space.
I think your case is a little bit different if you're looking for pumpkins on the side of the road type of thing.
Yes, but perhaps you're right. Yeah,
No, it's good.
maybe doesn't really focus on, maybe not a problem that everyone has.
Yeah. So I think I had a few questions, a few emails to me and stuff like that. So
Yes,
I'll just take a few minutes to kind of address any of those questions.
good idea.
Someone was asking like, how waterproof is it? I know it's waterproof, but have you like submerged it? I'm sure no one's going to submerge it, but have you?
Yes, I did actually. I put it in the shower the other day, and just completely wet it through. And basically, the material itself is completely waterproof. Like you can, and actually, I think this is a really important point because you can get materials like, let me just grab this. Like, I can also confirm that this material, this sort of much more woven material, which is like my other backpack,
Yeah.
that's also waterproof. But because it's got this woven top layer that's like a kind of canvasy material, the water can absorb into that, even though underneath there's actually a waterproof layer. So let's say you're going through the rain, for like it's raining all day and you're walking through the rain. It means that your backpack will take on water, even if the water won't go through the waterproof material. And with this water, because it's so, because of its outside PVC shiny layer, the water just pells off it, right? So the water never even stays on your backpack. Then you've got just the waterproofness, so it's not going through the material. But I would never say, so I can confirm the material is totally waterproof. However, whenever you construct a backpack using a sewing machine, at that point, where you've got your seam, you actually have hundreds, if not thousands, of tiny holes that are making their way through the waterproof material. And it is, so the way that, unless you're using like the kind of thermo binding types of waterproof backpack, and that really, that does create an actual waterproof bond. With me, I am still using a sewing machine to stitch these things together. So at the seam, it is not 100% waterproof. So that doesn't mean that water gets in easily. It just means if you were to submerge it completely for, let's say, 5 hours in water, you would find that the actual thread that is going between, that is holding your seams together, the thread can let water through, but that is the only thing that is actually able to move water between the inside and the outside. So that's how waterproof it is. It is not 100% waterproof, but the thread could allow some water in, but it would never be drops of water. So that's sort of the reality of a backpack that's been stitched together, but great for walking around in the rain. And if it gets submerged in water, I think it would do a really good job of protecting everything on the inside. And there just might be, a tiny percentage of water that actually gets in and dampens things slightly, but not your laptop actually, because the laptop's in its own bit.
Nice.
So I think your tech would actually be supported, would be completely kept safe from the submersion of the water.
Good to know. Good to know. Another person wanted to know about the material itself. Let me put myself up. And if it's made to be sanitized with alcohol-based sprays, or if it's better for like soapy water.
Yes, right. Let me just grab something. So I've been testing. This is the same material that the bag is made from. And I have never had so many, like cleaners in my flat before. So I think the first thing to say is that if COVID-19 is your concern, then the research that we saw this year, which was actually really surprising, just to remind everyone, I'm sure we all know this now, but it's just a reminder, the best way that normal people can destroy the virus is with a soap and water solution. That was what was so surprising to so many people. So if COVID-19 is your concern, soap and water is the absolute best way to clean your surfaces and your hands. And you just need to do that for a certain amount of time. And, there's loads of stuff online about how to do that properly. For people who want to surgically clean the surface of the backpack, you can use much, much, much harsher cleaning agents on the bag. And I have been trying out a few different ones, including, this is neat bleach, completely undiluted. And I left it on here for a few hours, and I even put it over the printing on the bag. You would never put just completely undiluted bleach onto surfaces, but if you did, it would be absolutely fine on here. The best thing to do is always to look at the instructions on your cleaning agents, and just take the right amount for what you're trying to do. But in reality, if you were even using bleach, which you would normally use watered down, and putting that on the bag and wiping it off, that would be absolutely fine. The alcohol-based fluids that you were just talking about. So let's say your classic hand sanitizer that we're carrying around, if that were to get onto your RiutBag Plus, it does not damage the surface of the material. I also left that on for this bit over this area, and it makes no difference. But because there's 25% of it is a sort of gel that is holding the alcohol in, it might dry on there, and so you have to wipe it off with water. I also, because some people have been getting in touch to say, what about 90% ethanol, rubbing alcohol, and some of these more serious disinfectants? If you use those, as long as I tried putting on some I left some completely to dry and evaporate. I think normally you would just put on a very light layer and then wipe it off. It does actually have the 90% ethanol is completely fine, and it has no impact on the material. And there was a thing called Dettol.
Yep, Dettol.
Which is chloroxylenol. That's the active ingredient. And when I left that on for 4 hours as well, it looks like it's left a little film on top of it. But honestly, all of them, which is not how you would use any of these cleaners, but if you were to leave them on, your 90% alcohol and your full on bleach, it doesn't impact the material. So in terms of just spraying it on, wiping it off, what actually happens is it shines up on the material, and then it dries and evaporates really quickly, and then you are left with a sanitized and clean looking surface.
Yep. Great. I mean, I love all that research that you did. That's cool. Okay, another question was about the mask holder. Someone is concerned that there's not an easy pocket to put the mask in that would protect the mask from getting dirty or corrupted, or however you would say that. So they were wondering if there might be an addition for a pouch or something, a washable pouch that you could put onto the bag as well. I mean, the practicality of the clip, it makes sense. But they were kind of bringing up that point. So maybe that could be...
Yeah, that is a point that a few people have brought up. So if you are wanting to keep your mask sort of protected from the outside world, I think this this backpack isn't going to do that. The thought with the mask holder is having a place that you don't have to put it into your pocket and then bring it back out again. And having a place that, especially as the rules are changing from week to week or from month to month, that, for example, as you leave your home, maybe you're walking down the street without a mask, and you walk into a cafe. As you walk in, you need to have your mask on, then you take it back off again to actually eat something, and then depending on where you are in the world, if you can even do that currently, or as you go in and out of a supermarket, the constant sort of having to have a mask available and maybe take it on and off again regularly, that's what this mask tip is trying to do. And of course you don't have to use it in that way. For the people who don't, when they're out and about and don't want their mask sort of being exposed to the outside world, what I recommend you do, if you were using this, is to just keep your mask on this when you're at home, so that you know I have my mask, because that's one of the things that I also have noticed, like I said earlier, that you want to remember your mask and know you've definitely got it. But once you've used your mask, if you don't want it to continue to be in the outside world, then the mask holder isn't going to help. And maybe I'll see whether I can include a little mask pocket in with the whole thing, probably not on the bag, but a separate thing, so that you actually feel like you can put your mask away. I'll consider that, actually. That's maybe something that will help people. But I think it probably won't be an integral part of the backpack. Just immediately thinking on the. There's also one small other practicality that it makes me think of, which is that, when we use our masks, we breathe into them, and the whole point of this, like the issue with coronavirus, is that everything is sort of transported through droplets and the moisture that comes out of our mouths. So I think there is still some benefit to the idea that you don't put the mask in too small an area, because actually then it can't dry out properly. So by drying out, that might be another thing to consider for the people who are saying, should I put it away with, I just think there's I need to have a little think about sort of which way that goes. Is it more beneficial or is it less beneficial? Thank you for that point. I'll think about that.
And then I just had a couple questions. Like, do you know the weight of the bag offhand?
Yes, it is 1.2 kilos. And that is, it's actually a little bit lighter than some of my other laptop backpacks. And I think that's because I've stripped away every single time you take off a few buckles or like some little bits of webbing or binding here and there. It just takes off a few grams here and there. But in general, my backpacks, because I am so aware that I want to make durable backpacks that are made from really nice materials that are going to last for years, that means there is some extra weight in the backpack. But that enables you to be able to carry a bit more and certainly for longer because of the construction. So yeah, it's 1.2, and that's the prototype, and there are still a few tiny things that I need to change, like the wrong zips ended up here, and so there might be a few grams different when I actually put the right zips on. So yeah, that's the current weight.
Cool. And can it fit underneath the seat on an airplane?
So if I think about our local like inside Europe sort of short haul flight companies like EasyJet and Ryanair. So I tend to work within their quite restrictive
definitely
kind of dimensions that they say. So I've made this so that this can be your backpack that you take on board. But I think technically you need 40 by 20 by 20. I think that's what they say should go under the seat in front. And so that would be your small bag. That would be your extra bag.
Yeah.
Whereas this is probably your main backpack because it's got a little bit more height. It's up to 50 centimeters.
Oh, right.
And in order to get a 15-inch laptop across the back, you're 34 centimeters across. So this is not your small bag. Although I don't know whether you have a similar thing where you are, but quite like I notice in the UK with Ryanair and EasyJet that people use slightly larger bags for their small bags. I never do this, so I use my little day pack if I want my small pack and my small bag to be in the right amount. But this would then be this is my main cabin take-on bag, basically.
Okay, got it. Okay, is there anything else about the bag that you want to share with us? Because I think we're going to start wrapping it up. It's been in about an hour, so.
Let us wrap it up.
I love it, though. I've loved hearing all the story behind it, all the thought processes. It's so good.
Thank you for the questions, too. They really, this is something that's really new. And so when I get feedback and questions, they help me to understand more about the design and what people need to know.
Yeah.
There's one more little thing, because everyone is carrying hand sanitizer at the moment and they're digging through their bags in order to get it. I made this tiny little, it's very simple little piece of material, and basically you just like screw off the top of your sanitizer bottle and put that over the neck. It fits like a 2-centimeter neck, which is quite standard for these bottles. And then you can attach it onto your strap. Let me see if I can show you. You can just have it on the outside here. So it sort of travels with you. And you can put it onto any of the straps on the bag, of course. But yeah, so like I've been trying to do little practical things like that. But in general, yeah, this is just a secure laptop backpack that happens to be completely wiped clean and like it's the most waterproof backpack I have made to date. So that's really what it is. And for people who would like to have that option, I would love it if they come and check out my Kickstarter campaign and share it with people who they think could benefit from the design. So that's really that's where I'm at the moment.
And you're more than halfway funded, right, on your Kickstarter?
Oh, right, yes. Good point. So,
and you have like 15 days left, something like that?
Exactly, yeah. In the first 4 days, we funded half of the new design, which is amazing. And I'm so grateful to all the backers who have been involved there, asking questions, sharing it with people, telling people about it. Now it's for the next, so on the 3rd of November, that's the final day. So I've got the next few weeks to see if I can tell the world about it, to see it, so that we can find anyone who genuinely would benefit from this design. And I feel like those people are out there. And I would just love them to come and be a part of this Kickstarter campaign so that if we get it funded, I can make this for them or you, whoever it is.
Yeah. Awesome. So yes, the link to the Kickstarter is in the YouTube live stream chat box, but I will share it in the comments as well, or in the description as well. And where else can people find you and find out about the bag?
Right, so online I am at Riut, which is the strange word RIUT, riutbag.com. And Riut, in case anyone can remember this, it's my design philosophy, which is revolution in user thinking. That I will revolve all my thinking around the user, but also the backpack revolved by 180 degrees to get all these zips at the back and nothing on the outside. So RiutBag Riut.com, and or if you look up my name, Sarah Giblin, and backpacks, then you can also find my website. And I mostly hang out on Twitter, trying to hang out on TikTok.
Oh.
So that's a whole nother discussion.
Trying.
So yeah, you can find me.
Love that. I have on the screen underneath you, I have riut.co.uk.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that too.
So
Okay.
go to the same website.
It goes, okay,
Exactly.
great.
Just some people, like international
Yeah.
people, can't, like, when they see .co.uk, it just looks bizarre to them.
Yeah.
So like I remember someone was like, "Are you in Ukraine?"
Oh,
And
no.
I was like, "Well." So yeah, riot.co.uk is also the home. All of the websites go to the same place, and that's where I've got my current secure backpacks, from my small day packs to my large travel bags and like high-vis rain covers. And yeah, when I bring out new designs, if they get funded, then they will also be there.
Well, great. Thank you so much for taking the time to share this all with us. I mean, this is
Brilliant.
so interesting. I loved hearing about it. So thank you so much, Sarah. It was great.
Brooke, thank you so much. And for everyone's questions, like I said, it's just so useful for me. So yeah, this exists. And if you want it to exist more, then you can back it on Kickstarter.
Yes.
So thanks for finding out about it.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.